Friday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I'm your host, Maddie Evans, and I love getting to be here every Friday and Saturday and Sunday to let you know what's taking place in our community. You can tune in starting at 7 a.m. and that way we can get you in the know before you start to celebrate your wonderful weekend. Now, if you're looking for some fun activities to do this weekend, well then Park City Film has got you covered, and we're going to catch up with Katie Wang here in just a little bit to talk about some of their great upcoming showings. Now, Earth Day is right around the corner, and Park City Film is the perfect place to celebrate, and so you're going to want to stick around for that. Now, there's another great season of Couples Retreat coming out on MTV, and we also had a chance to chat with some of the wonderful people who are on the show, and so we're really excited to introduce them to you here coming up. Now, we're going to take a look at that local weather forecast and see what's in store for us now that Park City Mountain has extended its season all the way to May. That's right, you can ski up until May 1st, which is going to be a ton of fun for everyone to get out there. So I hope to see you out there on the mountain this weekend, but let's take a look at that weather forecast right now.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back to the show. Are you looking to get out there and do something fun this weekend and even into next week? Well, then Park City Film has got you covered, and I'm here with Katie Wang. Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Always great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I love getting to talk with you only because I feel like it always sparks this passion for film that I need to dive deeper into. And so what do you have coming up this weekend?
Well, in celebration of Earth Day, we are excited to show All That Breathes, which is the winner of the Grand Jury Prize at the 2022 Sundance Film Festival, and it was nominated for an Academy Award this year for Best Documentary Film. And this is just one of those quintessentially immersive documentary films. I mean, it just takes your breath away. It's about the story of two brothers who live in New Delhi, and they have kind of made it their life's work to save and rehabilitate black kites, which are a bird of prey, that are literally falling out of the sky. And these are really important to the ecosystem in New Delhi. They're scavengers. They kind of help clean things up on the streets, if you will. But they're just these amazing kind of prehistoric looking creatures. And you can see in the trailer, they're just, there's a little bit of levity. I mean, I'm sure they don't have a good sense of humor, but seemingly they do. I mean, they're kind of anthropomorphized a little bit in that way. But it's just this story about interspecies coexistence and how in each animal, creature within the life cycle is so important and so critical to all of our well-being. So it's a beautiful film, of course. All That Breathes kind of encapsulates just that feeling of just all of humanity kind of coming together. And the film is set against the backdrop of kind of social unrest at the time, the kind of a toxic environment within New Delhi environmentally, but just really this kind of glimmer and beacon of hope that these two brothers bring to that city. So that's our weekend film to celebrate and commemorate Earth Day.
Which I think is so cool, and you guys do such a good job of aligning your films with things that are happening in and around the community, and obviously Earth Day is a very large day throughout everywhere, and this is a really cool way that you guys are highlighting it, and of course, learning about a whole new species that's in danger is something that always fascinates people because you don't realize how much your decisions can impact something like this incredible bird.
Absolutely. And it's just, many people in our ski towns have foster dogs, and just, that relationship that one can have with an animal. And certainly when you're rehabilitating and saving another creature, kind of the power that brings to your relationships with the world. And you can really see that in this brother's relationship with these birds that, maybe they will never solve this problem. Maybe it's just a Sisyphean task, but, each individual bird that they save, it matters to them, right? And it just creates this sense of just possibility and hope and connection of even in the kind of direst of circumstances that maybe you can make progress, maybe you can make a positive change.
I mean, we're talking about fostering dogs, and you can only see her tail right now, but here's my foster fail dog on the set with me this morning. And it is something that's really cool in our community because Bee herself came from our community, and so she is a dog that was a passion. And I love what you guys do, and I love how you guys bring all of these details and really show our community kind of a different aspect. And I'm so excited to see this film, and I'm so excited for all of the hard work you guys do. And you guys select these films so specifically, so it's connection to Sundance and the Academy Awards. And then, of course, do you guys have an underwriter for this film?
Yes, we do. Rick Catoni, he's a longtime supporter of Park City Film, just a lover of independent cinema, world cinema, foreign language films. And he, as soon as he saw that this film was coming back, he said, please let me support it because I want people to know how important it is to see these stories and support them in our community. And we are, forever in his debt, but, all of our supporters to how much they, want to help us bring these important programs to our community. So big thanks to Rick Catoni for his support this weekend for All That Breathes.
I love your underwriters, and I love all of the support that you guys do receive from the community. Now, you guys have another great event coming up on Thursday, so let's talk about that one.
Yes. So before we switch to that, though, All That Breathes is going to be Friday or Saturday at 7 and then Sunday at 6. So you want to get the show times in there if you want to come see that film. But then, yes, next week, come back. We've got a great film on Thursday night, April 27th. And this is part of our Raising Voices film series. And we're showing a short film that was nominated for Best Documentary Short Film, and it's called Stranger at the Gate. And this is just such a deeply moving film. It's kind of hard to put it into words. How much this film moved me when I saw it at Mountain Film and Telluride over Memorial Day weekend. It's the story of a former U.S. Marine who sets out to bomb the mosque in his small Midwestern town. And he comes face to face with the people he's basically about to kill, and it completely changes his world. And the ending of what could be a tragic story ends up being this incredible story of transformation and of hope and redemption. And it's 30 minutes that is so powerfully packed, it will take your breath away. And we are thrilled that after the film, we'll be joined via Zoom by the director, Jeff Seftel, and the subject of the film, Mac McKinney, the U.S. Marine. And he is just an incredible human being. I got to meet him at the festival, and just to hear him speak and just the power and the beauty and just how much he has transformed and wants to help other people make the same change that he did in himself is just unbelievable. So really excited for that screening next weekend. Next week. It is free. And then after the Q&A, we'll have small group facilitated community conversations with Mountain Mediation to kind of get to that next level. So it'll be, kind of a compact evening, but with a short film, post-film Q&A, and then these small group conversations. We're imagining about a 2-hour total time, so about what you'd normally invest in an evening at the movies. I just hope that people really want to come and just get engaged and take the conversation to that next level that we don't often get to do when we have longer films. So really excited for Stranger at the Gate. It is absolutely a film that you will never not regret seeing and want to share with as many people as you possibly can.
As you were talking about it, I was getting goosebumps up my legs and down my arms, only because hearing you have this passion for these films and thinking about how jam-packed 30 minutes with emotions this is going to be is so incredible. And the fact that you guys are bringing them in to discuss it, and I feel like this is such a vulnerable state for someone who is recognized as so fearless and so strong. A Marine is a title that is not easy to come by, and so to have this vulnerability from him, I think is going to, shake people's worlds.
Absolutely. And just to see how kindness and love, like we're so diametrically opposed in so many ways in our community in the United States, that how can we bridge that divide? How can we find that common humanity in one another that shows us that we have more in common than we have different? And what does that mean to the world around us? If we can find that goodness in each other and elicit that in one another, that it really can be this transformative experience. And it's just really powerful to see how Mac's life has changed and how he's changed his community as a result.
I love this speaker series. I think it's such a great way for people to get involved. Now, if someone is interested in participating in the speaker series, not as a viewer, but as maybe someone who is representing themselves with a film that they've created, how can they get involved with you guys?
We love having people reach out to us. I can be contacted on my email, director@parkcityfilm.org. We love getting recommendations from people, whether it's just a film that you saw at a festival or a film that you heard about or read about, in the New York Times or, wherever you get your news. And think this is a film that really would resonate with our community. If you're a filmmaker and you've got a film that you'd like to bring to the big screen, particularly if you're in the state of Utah, we have a Made in Utah film series. So we've got a spot specially made for you. But we welcome that conversation because there are so many films out there. It's impossible for us to see everything. Even when you go to festivals, right? There's this whole selection process, and it's not everything doesn't get through that filter. Sundance, is very exclusive. I go to Telluride as well. I mean, I see all these festivals, but there are always these gems that we're looking for that maybe you went to a smaller film festival or hasn't yet been on the festival circuit. They're really important to bring to our community because that's how these stories get heard and shared and can make that impact. I mean, that's really what an art house cinema is all about, is to bring those stories to the big screen that wouldn't be seen in a commercial venue. They're not a big Marvel movie, right? Spider-Man's not going to show up at the end of these films. But they have this powerful resonance in them in a different way. And that's what we exist to do. So we're always interested in hearing from individuals, filmmakers, creatives, just film lovers, about what you'd like to see on our screen, and happy to have that conversation.
I feel like these smaller films that we talk so frequently about when we get to sit down and chat with each other are the ones that make you think a little bit harder. They're critically acclaimed for a reason, and they do make you have a perspective shift sometimes, which I think is one of the most fascinating parts about what you do when you bring these films in and when people recommend them to you. Now, I've been thinking about this for a little bit of time. If people would like to know the history of Park City Film and what brought you guys to life and how you started this nonprofit, can you give us more of that history?
Sure. We actually because of the Sundance Film Festival, which is no surprise really, but we operated at the historic Jim Santee Auditorium, which is on the third floor of the Park City Library building, which used to be the original high school in Park City. So built in 1928, fell into disrepair, and Sundance was looking to expand around 1995, and they wanted another venue in Park City. So they talked to the city and said, listen, if you renovate this building, bring it back online and renovate the auditorium, we'll use it as one of our venues and, guarantee you through this contract kind of long-term revenue for it. But we need some volunteers that can help out. And so the Park City Arts Council at the time said, great, we've got some film lovers. Let's bring them in. They can sell tickets, usher seats, whatever. And people loved it. All the volunteers, the community, like, this is fantastic. I said, but let's do this year round. Like, let's not just have it during Sundance, because there weren't any movie theaters in town at the time. And so then Sundance, as a thank you to the community, said, okay, we'll bring back some Sundance films outside of festival. And that's basically the genesis of Park City Film, that we did it quarterly and then monthly and then every week. And it just kind of built upon that. And people said, oh, we need more Q&As. It's got to be more of the Sundance flavor. We need the directors. And then we looked to our local community. We're like, it's great to get the director, but sometimes it's not affordable or accessible. How about people from our local community that can talk about these topics, talk about the environment, talk about tolerance? There are so many people within our own community that we can tap and elevate and connect to, just the patrons in our audience. And so that's kind of how it all got born. But it was Sundance basically that started it off, and we still have a great relationship with them to this day. We don't just show Sundance films, of course. We show many other festivals as well, but our heart is always at the Sundance Film Festival, and we remain 28 years later one of the official venues for the festival for the 10 days.
I'm so glad I asked that question because I've been thinking about it so much, and what a cool story. And it just shows how tight-knit the Park City community is and how much you guys love the arts.
Absolutely. Well, and it's, we're known as a ski town, right? Mountain biking, all those things. But after hours, like, what do we do, right? People aren't just sitting around doing nothing. They want to engage with each other. They want to immerse themselves in film. A lot of folks from here are from big cities, but they've moved here because they want that small town feel. So we always say that, our audience has big city taste, but they love living in a small town. So what we present, we pride ourselves on curating a program that you could find in a big city like San Francisco or New York or LA. It is comparable and could stand up against any of those theaters, but in a setting where the person next to you, or you've maybe seen that face at the grocery store, and maybe you'll see them again and you can talk about that great film that you just saw. We have a dinner and a movie program, and someone said, listen, there's a bunch of us that are single. Could you kind of make a captain's table where we all get together before the film, have dinner, and then go get to see the film together? Because we know we're going to be there anyway, but let's just create that other opportunity to connect with each other. And so it's just this wonderful way of, again, connecting people in different ways, and being more creative about it.
And I think it's such a great discussion point because some people laugh in movies, some people cry in movies, and some people sit absolutely immersed so much in the movie that they don't show any emotions. And so what a great way to start a conversation. I love the captain table idea so much.
Isn't that great? I mean, what a fun idea when this person suggested it to me. I was like, I wish I had thought of that. And so we're really excited to actualize that and just again have that opportunity to just get to know someone different. I mean, maybe you're not even single. Maybe you just want to meet new people in the community. We have a lot of people who've moved to town in the past couple of years, and they just want to find something that they have in common with other folks. I mean, you see people on the chairlift and you meet them for, 5 minutes that it takes you to get to the top of the mountain or whatever. And that's always fun, but you probably never see them again. You probably wouldn't even know what they looked like if you did, because they don't have their goggles on. But, in a restaurant, it's just, there's more of an intimacy to it. But again, connecting it to something where it's like you have something to talk about already built in. So it's not this awkward of like, well, where are you from? Okay. Could be, it's like you already know you've got something in common that then you can build off of.
Which I love because I'm not a big small talk person. When people are like, oh, how's the weather? I'm like, no, let's talk about anything else. Like, okay.
Right. Snow.
Right. Yeah, there's just never ending amounts of snow right now. And that's super cool. And Watershed's going to be awesome this year.
Yeah,
now,
right.
if people are interested in the captain's table, where can they find it?
So we haven't actually brought that online yet, but if you go to parkcityfilm.org, all of our film pages, so whether it's All That Breathes or Stranger at the Gate, coming up next week, you can click on the dinner and a movie experience and see who our partners are. And then as we bring the captain's table online, we'll update that page and say Cortona or, Sammy's Bistro is hosting the captain's table this evening. So we'll look to our partners. We have about 10 different restaurants that we're partnering with and reach out to them and kind of figure out what's the best way to actualize this. Because operationally, it's, takes a little bit of work behind the scenes, but absolutely a fun idea that we're looking forward to people participating in.
Sammy's Bistro, hands down, has the best grilled cheese in all of Park City. So I hope that everyone gets over there. They enjoy the captain's table if they host it, and they get the grilled cheese.
Exactly. Yep. Nice. Good recommendation.
Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this great information. And thank you for the history lesson. I feel like it's so fascinating to hear how these wonderful aspects of our community fully come to life.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me.
Make sure that you check out parkcityfilm.org. That way you can see how you can participate in the dinners, what's coming up, as the calendar continues to just be absolutely astonishing with great things that you're going to want to participate in. You can buy your tickets online, you can buy your tickets at the door, and you can see all of the show times. That way you know what works best for your schedule. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
Right back as
Are
soon as
you
they
looking
start.
for a great binge-worthy show? Well, then MTV's Couple Retreat has got you covered, and I've got Fallon and Apollo joining me. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Now, you guys both come from a very extensive reality TV life, and so this kind of shifts gears because it really takes that time, centers and focuses on your relationships.
That's right, it does.
Now, as you guys, oh, excuse me, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, from the other platforms, it's kind of broad spectrum. But yeah, to your point, you definitely get to home in and see us in a different vulnerable state.
A very vulnerable state. And just from watching the little bit that I got to see, it seems like there's a lot of drama. Now, the drama is obviously not fun when it's yours, but any moments of other people's drama that really stood out to you throughout the taping of Couples Retreat?
You take that one.
Wait, I'm sorry. I had received a call. Can you reiterate the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, when you guys were filming, there was so much drama constantly happening around you, not only with you as a couple, but with the other couples. Any moments of drama that really stood out to you that maybe weren't your moments of drama?
Oh, okay. I see what you did there, Apollo. There were a few. I feel like each couple had their own reason as to why we all went on to this show and did this experience, especially in Vegas of all places. But I couldn't have picked a better eclectic group to have handled this situation and this experience. I believe that everyone was highly supportive of one another and our own different issues that we all had. And it was truly, by the end of it all, it was truly therapeutic for any and everyone that was a part of this show, whether or not they decided to stay together or not.
Which I think is so intense because it just adds that extra drama to the field as people are deciding if they're going to be together. And some couples had been married for 21 years. Some couples had come off of these crazy scandals that like blew up all over the internet. And so as you guys made your way through, how do you feel about the outcome of Couples Retreat?
I mean, I feel good. I think that everyone left with a gem. You know, I think everyone left intact. Again, if you're not still, in a relationship, you're still left with something that's going to leave you wholesome, either going into the next chapter of your life. It's going to give you something to expound on. So it was very, very, for me, it was intellectual. You know, I felt a great sense of, genuineness from everybody. And I just really appreciate everybody putting it out there and just giving me an opportunity to learn from them.
And like you said, it shows kind of a different, more intimate side. And so what were some of the challenges that you guys faced having a camera crew go through this very intimate kind of learning experience with you?
You know, honestly, I feel like everyone there was being their authentic and true selves. At some point in time, we didn't even see the cameras because we were all there for a specific reason. You know, we all got the call. We all said, we all heard Vegas. That was the first thing. And then the second thing was couples, therapy. And we all truly wanted to work on our relationship. So when it came to the cameras and the crew being around, I would say it was a good and a bad thing that we forgot that the cameras were there because it gets pretty crazy.
I would imagine it gets wild, and especially anything gets wild in Vegas. Now, if you guys each had to select 3 words to describe the show to get people to watch it, what would you say?
Apollo, go.
You say electrifying, informative, and lots of love.
Fallon, how about you?
I would have to say therapeutic, eclectic, and loving.
And do you think when people watch the show, they might be able to learn things about themselves and their personal relationships?
100%.
Definitely. You're going to definitely, it's so informative. Again, like, we were saying previously, it's one of those shows that's going to leave you, thinking. You're definitely going to, every episode, you're going to be left with, wow, that's applicable, and how can I navigate through what I just learned, and the way that you can do that is by, applying some of the things, because everybody's different in every circumstance, but it touches on every single thing in life. Everyone's gone through it or dealing with something, it doesn't, and again, Fallon and I were saying, you don't have to necessarily be in a relationship to learn these tools, because at some point, whether if it's, with your peers, whether if it's in, with spouse, you're going to take something with you that's going to, benefit you.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you guys both so much for taking the time to chat with me, giving me all this great information, and thank you guys for being so vulnerable for us to all have this opportunity to learn not only about ourselves, but some of the relationships that we want to maintain.
Thank you so much.
Make sure that you check out MTV's Couple Retreat. It's going to premiere here very soon, and we're really excited to see what happens. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back from the break, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
thank you so much for tuning into your Friday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I cannot believe we are 21 days into April already. It feels like we've blinked and it is just absolutely flown by. I hope that you get out there, you soak up some sunshine when we start to see that come our way, since we've just been seeing an abundance of snowfall. And I hope that you get out there and you enjoy Park City Mountain Resort for the last couple of weeks now that they're making it all the way to May for you to get out there and enjoy the wonderful mountain. Now, after you're skiing or riding, you can make your way over to Park City Film. You can enjoy this great movie celebrating Earth Day and following these brothers in their heroic tale to save this unique creature, this bird of prey. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow. We'll be here starting at 7 a.m. and we love to be here every Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I've been your host, Maddie Evans, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.